Hey guys, welcome back to You Are the Compass. I'm joined by John from Millennium this evening, and we are going to unpack the statement, if you could live forever, would you? I will play a short audio clip from Neil deGrasse Tyson with his interview with Larry King, and then I will hand it over to John to get his thoughts on the topic.
If you could live forever, would you?
Yes.
Okay, we're
Well,
done
then
with
I
the
have to
interview.
finish this sentence.
Yes. No, okay, sure, that's an attractive idea. But the way I look at it is the knowledge that I'm going to die that creates the focus that I bring to being alive. The urgency of accomplishment, the need to express love now, not later. If we live forever, why ever even get out of bed in the morning? Because you always have tomorrow. That's not the kind of life I want to lead.
But why? Don't you fear not being around?
I fear living a life where I could have accomplished something and didn't. That's what I fear.
Good morning, Jess. Another day in paradise here. What a beautiful clip that is. Beautiful video clip. If we could live forever. It reminds me of somebody who said that if you could just lie on a bed and you'd be healed. I think the words were med beds or something like that. And everything could be healed in your body. It would mean you'd be relieved from pain and everything, but you'd also wouldn't be learning the lessons that we're here to learn. And we have certain lessons that we have to learn, we've chosen to learn in this lifetime. And if all of a sudden our body was instantly fixed, we wouldn't be learning that lesson, that illness, that pain, that disease, whatever, is there to teach us. It's there to teach us because there's a problem in our thinking. There's a problem in the way we do things. It's the problem in our relationships. Many things can be causing the illness or disease, and we're here to learn from that, learn and grow and move through it. It's a little bit like listen to the whispers and you won't have to hear the screams. Now, if you could live forever, yes, as he says, what's the use of getting out of bed? You become very lethargic and lazy in your attitude. But if you've got timelines to stick to and you're in harmony with those timelines, it's in your true divine path, it gives you a great sense to accomplish something, knowing when you do accomplish something, life is a journey. Just because you accomplish something or achieve something or reach a goal, life doesn't stop. It's continuous. It's a full-on journey with life. And you've got to stop and smell the roses along the way on your journey of life. If you're too goal-orientated, you miss out on a lot of the joys of life. And it's not reaching the goal, it's the journey along the way of achieving or getting to that goal, which is most important. And in getting to the goal, again, there's lessons to learn along the way. If it was all too easy and things were given to you and you didn't have to strive for them to achieve them, somehow we become very blasé. We don't appreciate a lot of things along the way when we're doing that. So goals are fantastic for achieving inner growth, inner worth, and inner love. One of the biggest lessons we've come into this life is to learn to love ourselves. And reaching a height where you're very comfortable with yourself, when your cup is full of love, then there becomes enough love for other people. I find a lot of people seem to give a lot of love, but they're giving from an empty cup. And it's very difficult for those people to obtain balance and harmony in their life. But when you reach a stage where you 100% love yourself, life becomes so much easier on the journey. It does. So if we could live forever, well, yeah, I think it'd be boring. It will be boring.
Or we'd have nothing to live for. We'd have no goals because the time's not a factor.
Blasé, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that, Jesse?
I think for me, like, time wouldn't be a factor anymore. So when you're setting out your goals and you're trying to achieve something, time wouldn't be an issue for anyone. There's no time crunch. There's no, I've got to get this done by this stage because that's my deadline, because I've got an infinite amount of time. So it takes out that magic in it, that your back's against the wall and you've got to do this task because that's your deadline. And
time is a beautiful, interesting thing to understand. Time is only a man-made measure of movement. On the other side, on the other dimension, not this physical earth dimension, there is no such thing as time. And when there's no such thing as time, things change. I've been lucky to experience 2 times on that other dimension. It was a near-death experience where all of a sudden there's no time dimension in it. And the first time I couldn't understand it. The second time I started to get a grasp on it, where you're moving into, you feel like you're in this dimension forever and ever. Yeah, so time's a beautiful thing. And working with time is another difficult thing for most people, to work with time. And our life is becoming too logical, where we're working to timetables, to the watch, to the hour, to the minute, to the microsecond, whatever. And we're missing the rhythms of life. In other words, the seasonal rhythms, the night and day rhythms. Once we start moving out of those rhythms of life, we're becoming unnatural, for want of a better word. So being in harmony with yourself, with life, with the rhythms, and with the seasons is a beautiful state to get that. But society is moving along to a more logical, time-driven, money-driven society, where you start to lose touch with the divine, you start to lose touch with nature, you start to move more into your head instead of your body, with those feelings of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time's a beautiful thing to work with.
I think that's one reason why I like the diving and climbing the mountains. You've got no sense of time when you're up there. It's like the world just melts away and it's just you and your mind.
Yes, and there's times where just time stands still.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other times, where did all that time go? Just seems to, disappear. And then if you're waiting to clock off from work, go home from work, sometimes time just goes so slow when you start watching the watch. And it's a combination of, I'm bored with this job, I want to move on, I want to get home because I don't enjoy my work, I don't enjoy my job. I know when I was working on aircraft, sometimes just time would just disappear. I just was so intrigued working on aircraft. And I forget about being hungry. That wouldn't come into the picture. I'd forget about time. I'd forget about so many things that, just were irrelevant because I was so focused and enthralled at the work that I was doing there.
Mm-hmm. You're very passionate about that work.
Well, it's being passionate about being passionate what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do what you love doing and you don't have to work another day of your life.
Someone once told me that 30 years ago.
Yeah. And we see it in so many cases where people aren't enjoying themselves at work because it's not themselves, it's not their passion, it's not their goals, but at the same time it's to teach you a certain lesson in life. These life lessons are so important. And there's a beautiful saying where a guy looks up to the heaven and says, "Have I learnt everything I need to learn?" And all of a sudden the clouds part and this deep voice comes out, "Are you still alive?" Well, yes, if you're still alive, there's more lessons you need to learn. And we chose these lessons to learn. That's getting a little bit deep and a little bit meaningful, but let's just go that certain lessons we have to learn in this lifetime. And the lesson will be bigger and harder until you learn the lesson. And it's being in touch with the lessons that we have to learn. That's the difficult part. The more you resist that, the bigger and harder the lesson will be to learn. And listen to the whispers so you don't have to hear the screams with these life lessons. And it's different lessons for everybody. One of the things I have found that people come into your life to teach you certain lessons. Now, they're not necessarily the masters or the gurus. It could be a bad relationship. And it could be pretty horrific things that happen in your life to teach you certain lessons. And they get worse and harder if you don't learn the lessons that they've come here to teach you. And it could be just a simple lesson like learning to forgive people. That's a huge lesson. It could be a lesson learning to be humble, learning to be grateful, learning patience. There's some of the 4 biggest lessons that we've come here to learn. But they don't teach this at school. You've got to get into the Buddhist religions or certain teachings to start to learn this stuff. But it's pretty basic stuff. And when you learn that stuff, you start to take a big step forward in life. Yeah, so if there were no end to your life, you wouldn't attempt to learn these lessons, would you?
Yeah,
We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it the next day.
Exactly. Like the chores, the house chores, or the tasks at work. If you've got an infinite amount of time, you're always going to be putting it off.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Alrighty, we might wrap it up there.
Put off till tomorrow.
Exactly. Do today what needs to be done. All right, we might wrap it up there, guys. Thank you, John, for joining us again.
It was beautiful talking to you, Jessie. Thank you very much, and have a great life.
Will do. Okay, guys, so that was John's thoughts on the notion, if you could live forever, would you? And I honestly do believe that having an infinite amount of time would somehow take that magic out of the present moment. There's a beautiful saying that I'm reminded of when I think of this statement, in that we are all migrants through time. Stay tuned as I will be releasing the coordinates on how you can connect with John.